He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 6 and 7. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. Double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to our Lord's elect, the house of David. Mr. Brother Aharon coming back at you with another lesson. Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right, and I believe today is May the 6th, all right, 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. And I have a couple of articles I want to go into, all right, highlighting, all right, the end time prophecies. Okay, we have the race riots, race wars. All right, as Yahushua said that there's going to be wars and rumors of wars. Okay, in the last days, another sign, all right, before the beginning of sorrows. Okay, or I should say the time of sorrows. Okay, because these things, all right, signify the beginning of sorrows. Okay, he also talked about pestilences. Okay, earthquakes, famines, and so on and so forth. All right, Matthew, the 24th chapter. All right, Luke, the 21st chapter, Mark, 13th chapter. All right, and many different prophets, I pretty much saw the same exact thing. Okay, Ezra, all right, comes to mind in the book of 2nd Esdras. All right, he talks about the plagues. All right, he talks about the famines, the pestilences, the sword being sharpened and used. Right. So again, we're seeing those things coming to pass, and this is all a sign of the end of this age. Okay, the end of this age goes out in a very bitter way. All right, a very painful way. All right, as is written in Revelation, the 6th chapter. We're beginning to see, all right, that red horse, okay, take that power, okay. Now, the first article I want to go into real quick here says, another major university forced to move classes online as anti-Israel mobs disrupt campus. Okay, and I've been watching very closely to the information that's been coming out in regards to this whole anti-Sem bill that's being passed, okay, soon to become law, all right, by really both parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, but mainly being pushed by the so-called Republicans. All right, and it's very interesting that you're starting to see the left, what they call the left, sounding like they're the right guys, right? What I mean by that is, a few years ago, it was so-called the left that were pushing, this whole, if you don't take the jab, then, you ain't right, and all these different things. And now it seems like the right is the one who's pushing for this pro-Israel stance. And the left are the ones saying, well, we're pro-Palestine, right? So regardless of where you stand, they're pushing for a division. Okay, and whenever you have a division like this, normally, typically what they do is they sit and wait and watch for this thing to get out of hand, and then they come in, and then you start to see them bringing in all these different legislations and different statutes to bring in that so-called order. Okay, and it reminds me of what happened back in the 1920s, all right, all the way to 1933, if I'm not mistaken, with prohibition. Okay, and that's where you start to see, which we're going to see again, an expansion of the so-called authorities, like the so-called FBI and so on and so forth. Okay, so this time they're going to do it through the expansion of biometrics, right? We could see them come up with an excuse to say, oh, well, these protests are getting out of hand, and it's countrywide, and these campuses are bugging out, these students are bugging out, so we have to track and see who's doing what. So you're going to start seeing them implementing biometrics as a cure for the chaos. Okay, and that's exactly what they've been trying to do for so long, but now they have a reason. Going back to the tried and true tactic of problem, reaction, solution. Okay, so let's get into this article real quick. It says the University of California, right? And we always know that whatever goes on in Cali pretty much goes around the states very soon. Okay, it says the University of California, Los Angeles is moving all classes online amid anti-Israel protests that have disrupted campus life for several weeks. Okay, it says the school issued an alert notice stating all classes are moving remote today, 5/6, and campus operations are limited due to ongoing disruptions. Okay, and 4 years ago, we heard the same exact thing. Schools went remote, right? And that was due to a so-called demic, right? That just popped up out of nowhere. And we're starting to see, again, the next article I'm going to go into is going to show you that they're not done with that disease outbreak fear tactic. Okay, so it's the same exact thing, but just a different way to get to it, right? It says employees were encouraged to work remotely if possible, and all events and research activities were also urged to go remote or be rescheduled. All right, and it's funny, I saw this video of this girl who was saying that 4 years ago, for their high school graduation, they weren't able to do it because everything was locked down, right? And everything had to go remote. 4 years later, when she's graduating college, same thing is happening again. So it's almost like a traumatic experience for a certain group of people, and they know exactly what they're doing. Okay, but let's keep going. It says law enforcement is stationed around campus to help promote safety and actively monitor conditions. Okay, whenever you see law enforcement and you see the word safety, understand that they're not there to keep the public safe. They're there to keep their overlords safe, okay, from the public. That's the whole thing. Because when they say safety, right, to promote safety, but yet when you look at these so-called protests and what's going on these campuses, you see your students fighting against law enforcement. So how are they there to keep them safe if they're the ones who are beating them up and shooting at them and so on and so forth, right? And eventually a lot of people are kind of waking up to it. Even though this is all orchestrated, eventually it picks up steam where people start to actually get involved, right? This is all being backed by George Soros and all these so-called elites. This is what they do. All right, they fund both sides, and then they push it through the mainstream media, and then next thing you know, it catches fire and everybody's doing it. Okay, so that's the same things that they've been doing. They're doing the same thing over again. All right, it says student affairs has staff on campus to support our students, officials said. The university previously canceled classes for 3 days following clashes between protesters and authorities, right? The same authorities who are there to keep those protesters or the public safe, yet they're clashing, right? Okay. It says at an encampment on campus that was being cleared by police. In a Monday social media post, the UCLA chapter of Students for Justice in Palestine said 37 people had been arrested at a parking structure. Parking structure? You mean a parking lot? Yeah. It says protesters also planned a, quote, sit-in at Moore Hall on campus. Okay, so we're gonna be watching. At least I am. I'm gonna be watching to pay attention to see what angle they're gonna take with this one. Okay, but like I said, I'm sure many brothers have also said that if they stick to the tried and true tactics, this is gonna go worldwide. All right, at least countrywide. You're gonna see it. Different states are gonna start picking up steam. All right, as the summer months come along and it starts getting warmer and warmer, this thing is not gonna go away. Okay, remember what happened with China a few years ago with the yellow vest protests, right? What happened after that? They got their order, and look what happened to them. They're in a whole new world. Okay, ain't nothing to protest now. All right, they're in a completely different world now, and that so-called social credit system is up and running over there in China. And if you dare to speak up and talk about you want to protest, well, you're going to be dealt with accordingly. So If Klaus Schwab is saying that the Chinese model is attractive, then however they got to where they're at now is exactly what they're going to do to the rest of the world. Okay, but understand that America is going to go down in a more violent way because they have something known as the so-called Constitution, which is all an illusion. All right, but by the time the people realize that it's all an illusion, there's going to be bloodshed out here. Okay, now let's move into the next article here, which says the H5N1 bird flu has already acquired dozens of new mutations, and authorities, once again, authorities, right, are really ramping up the fear level, right, because we're entering into the halfway point of the year, okay, which is June, and I believe the WHO that they're going to be wrapping up their so-called treaty talks by the end of this month. Okay, so we'll see how things go, but they're saying that countries that are on the One Accord Treaty, if they have any laws or any type of constitutions that this allows the Hudat to trump their laws, that's going to be a problem. They're going to have to disannul. Meaning, if America's constitution is going to be a problem, then they're going to have to do something about that, which they already have. Okay, there are so many different ways, so many different loopholes that they go through in order to commit all these treasonous acts against the so-called American people. You know what I'm saying? Through their agencies. All right. So let's read. It says, have you noticed that the mainstream media is suddenly full of very alarming stories about H5N1? When hundreds of millions of birds were dying because of the bird flu, the mainstream media didn't seem to care very much. So most people in the general population didn't care very much. Exactly. Right. And that's, again, it always starts off with the information. That is why they're going so hard to stop the truth from going out, because it kind of puts a damper, not kind of, it does put a damper on their narrative. Okay, if they're coming out spending millions and billions of dollars to lead people into a certain direction through lies and propaganda, and here we come, measly old people on the internet telling the truth and exposing their lies, what do you think is happening? It slows them down. Okay, it slows them down. So they're going to have to get aggressive. Hence, they're passing bills to stop people from talking against so-called Israel, because the whole world is realizing that, these people are committing a genocide. And they're noticing that the talk on the internet isn't favoring the Jays. All right, there's a lot of questioning happening. Okay, and when you question a lot of these things, it goes back to their agenda. It goes back to their identity. It goes back to their plans. Okay, it goes back to their history. Okay, and it exposes them. Again, that's all biblical prophecy. All right, the man of sin being revealed. All these different things that's going on around the world, a lot of people are tuning in. And one thing that these elites or these devils don't want is for the public to start paying attention to the truth. Okay, when people start paying attention to the truth, what they have to do then is we need to stop those who are speaking the truth. But you can't just come outright and stop it. What they do then is they have to first dehumanize the truth speakers. Okay, by labeling us conspiracy theorists, by labeling us terrorists and so on and so forth, right? Anti-Semitic and all these different things. What that does is it creates an image of disdain, right? A disliked image, a hateful image. Oh, we don't want to be a part of that. These people are hate groups. You guys are hateful. You guys are crazy. You guys are out of your mind. Okay, you guys are the reason why we're all suffering. You see, you Bible speakers. This is why they need to ban the Bible. Listen to what the Bible is saying. If this is what the Bible says, then we don't want any parts of it. The Bible uses hurtful words and blah blah blah. So we must ban it because it's affecting how we feel. You can't ban the words of the Heavenly Father, man. Okay, but again, that's what they do. And then they turn around and then they might either imprison you or they might just outright just kill you. Okay, and the public is going to be just fine with it because, again, you have been dehumanized. And that's what they're starting to do. Okay, The moment these devils start committing genocide on a grand scale where everybody can see it and people start questioning it, and negative attention is being brought upon them, they start making laws to protect themselves. From who? They're basically saying that you cannot question us. You cannot have an inquisition. You cannot research on us. You cannot basically shine the light on what we're doing. That is why they're putting these laws in place. Okay, it's to stop the communication of who these people are and what they're actually doing. Okay, because when you look at every single corner, every aspect of what the hell is going on around the world, it points back to them. You see, and that's putting a problem in their plans. Everybody's like, no, we ain't with this shit. Who runs the world? Who has all the power? Who's behind all the wickedness and all the bullshit that's been going on around the world? And now they're openly just committing a genocide. And once everybody starts talking about it, all of a sudden they gotta ban TikTok. Why? Because people are using TikTok as a platform to spread information that goes against their narratives, that paints the truth in a better light. Okay? A lot of information is coming out to the public through TikTok. These short little videos people do here and there, is going out on a broad scale. And the truth is the forefront of that. Okay? And then it follows up with the bills, and then we can't speak against this because then that's anti-Sem. Very soon it's going to be just outright banning of the Bible, which they're already doing, and it's going to be a penalty of death if you dare to speak against the Jays. It's funny shit. All right, so let's continue. It says, then bird flu started infecting many mammals all over the globe, and the mainstream media still didn't seem to care very much because it wasn't time yet. Remember, we were doing videos on this a few months ago, reporting it that, when the summer months start coming around, you're going to start seeing the mainstream media start picking up the stories and start pushing that propaganda bullshit. Okay, a few weeks ago, Tedros came out and said that, we're starting to see bird flu is taking over and and we already have Vanessas for it. You see, now they've already conditioned the people over the past 4 years, so they might not necessarily have to push it or make it a mandatory thing. All they have to do is just mention it, right? For example, they might just put a couple of people on TV and call them experts, right? These experts come on TV, and all they got to say is, well, we already have Vanessas for these things. So, just to keep you safe, we don't really have too much information on it. And though it's not really, deadly and it hasn't affected anyone yet, and, it's nothing to be worried about. But we already have Vanessas for it. So just to keep yourself safe and not to worry about it, you might as well just go ahead and take it. You see, because they know the truth has come out. Nobody is on board with this whole Vanessa shit. You see, so now they got to come with a softer approach. That's what Esau does. Okay, and then when he sees that the soft approach is really not working, they're going to ramp it up. All right, and we're going to witness all that. So continuing, it says, but now here we are in mid-2024, and the mainstream media has suddenly decided to ramp up the fear level. Even though there has only been one confirmed human case in the US so far this year, the mainstream media is pumping out article after article about the threat that H5N1 could potentially pose to humanity. Okay? Once again, the Lord talked about pestilences. When there's a pestilence, it affects animals as well. Okay? When there's a great dearth, right, in the land, it affects the animals as well. When there's a famine, it doesn't affect just people, it affects animals as well. And remember that animals are a great source of food for the world and for the American people. And when those two things are in danger, okay, it affects the whole entire economy, what they call the food supply chain. All right. It says, and then now just one thing I got to say too is, remember a few years ago, I believe in the West Coast, there was this whole What was it? What was it? Shit. What was the thing that was going on over there in the West Coast? It was the ships that were coming in with those containers, right? And they had all guys stuck on the ships and so on and so forth, and nobody could go take them off and blah blah blah, whatever. Do you understand that that was done by design for what's going on right now as we speak? Now, last year and the year prior to that, even the year before that, going to 3 years now, right? 2021, 2022, 2023, we saw a lot of these food processing plants get torched and put on fire, completely destroyed. That is all something is called a domino effect. That got affected months and years in advance for what we're about to witness very soon. You see, earlier this year, you have farmers, not even just in America alone. You got the UK and different parts in Africa, Europe, right? Asia, all right? They're all complaining about the weather and how it's affecting their crops and even growing their crops in certain seasons of the year. Okay, because of the unpredictable weather and the unfavorable weather. This is all going back to weather modification, weather warfare, which is all being done by the so-called elites. Okay, another form of the scorched earth theory. If you look into that, that's the same exact thing they're doing, but on a lower level. All right, the technology has advanced so much that they don't really have to go around openly doing it, but they could do it covertly. Okay. Now remember, they have power of over all these nations through the money system, right? So all they got to do is just put in a few leaders here and there, push a few buttons here and there, create a few narratives here and there, right? Bring about some type of emergency, and then through that emergency, they bring in their order. All right, and that's what we're witnessing now, the clampdown. Okay. So continuing, it says, it is quite true, or it is quite true that if a version of H5N1 comes along that can spread quickly from human to human, the death toll could be catastrophic. And that's exactly what it's going to be. Okay, because I believe through the spirit that people who took that J, there's a second go around, because they said that within 2 to 5 years of taking that jump shot, a lot of people who took it gonna die. Okay, it was designed to do exactly that. All right, the so-called Myrna. It was designed to do exactly that. Okay, so they give you all these distractions. All of a sudden, you got rappers having beef. Like, what kind of childish shit is this? Random ass 2, 3 rappers, 4 or 5 rappers going at it. They got beef now. Who the fuck? What? Amazing. It says, are we on the verge of seeing that happen? The New York Times reports that H5N1 has acquired dozens of new mutations. That's the key. Mutations. Okay? And some of them may make it more adept at spreading between species, meaning animals to people. According to a new study, the bird flu virus sweeping across dairy farms in multiple states has acquired dozens of new mutations, including some that may make it more adept at spreading between species and less susceptible to antiviral drugs. In other words, Vanessa's need to be the solution. Okay? Researchers are telling us that the bird flu acquired mutations in late 2023 that allowed it to jump from wild birds to cattle in the Texas Panhandle. In the new study, the new researchers collected samples containing virus from 26 dairy farms in 8 states. The researchers said that cows are not typically susceptible to this type of influenza, but H5N1 appears to have acquired mutations in late 2023 that allowed it to jump from wild birds to cattle in the Texas Panhandle. Amazing. Amazing. I wonder what kind of so-called research was being done, right? These same devils that go around doing research are the same ones that keep touching shit, keep meddling with things that end up becoming a so-called convenient disaster that they always have a solution for, right? Look no further than Fauci and his goons. Okay? It's amazing how a bird flu can now affect cattle and then people. Like, wow. This is crazy. It says the virus then appears to have spread on dairy farms from Texas to Kansas, Michigan, and New Mexico. And these seem to be major states that produce a lot of meat, right? The cattle industry, all right, pretty much thrives, all right, based on the production of those states, right? Kansas, Michigan, New Mexico, and so on and so forth. Okay, Texas, right? And Texas is like, it's kind of like, it reminds me of Illinois a little bit, right? These two states, for some reason, are always going to be right in the forefront of certain things, right? Texas is kind of like independent, low key. They kind of have their own power grid, so Esau always got they got the Bible Belt, they got their own gun laws and shit, I think certain parts, if not the whole entire state, they have open carry, if I'm not mistaken. Right, I can go back and double check on that, but I believe they have open carry as well. So they got a lot of, certain things that Esau doesn't really like if they want to have that complete overhaul of control, right? And then you got Illinois. For some reason, Illinois is always, they got something going on. I believe they got a certain structure over there as well. They got Little Egypt is over there. It's like it's funny shit that be going on over there, But anyway, let's keep going. It says, in at least a dozen instances since then, H5N1 has also spilled from cows back into wild birds, poultry, domestic cats, and a raccoon. Yo, shit. Got the raccoons too. Dang. It says, this is very chilling development. In the past, the bird flu would appear for a while and then go away. But for the past couple of years, it has been wiping out millions upon millions of birds all over the planet with no end in sight. From this point forward, will H5N1 also permanently threaten our cattle population? Well, it will, because they already have a solution for it. Not only do they have the Vanessa for it, but they also have the 3D printed lab-grown meats. You see, I believe they already have that. What country? Is it Spain? I think it's Spain. Right now, that there's a restaurant that's serving the 3D printed meat as an alternative. Okay, they already said that Kill Bates is already pushing for. He's pushing for the meats that you get in the grocery stores and in restaurants to be pumped with the Myrna, the Myrna Vanessa. Okay, so they already have a stake, all right, in the problem of having these animals get put to death, right? We must what do they always do? They say we must save the planet, we must save the animals, and then they end up killing the animals. Fucking devils, bro. Meat alternative. It's crazy. It says, needless to say, that could represent a very serious threat to our food supply. There you go. Even more alarming is the fact that the strain of H5N1 that a dairy worker in Texas caught reportedly had a mutation that allowed it to infect people more efficiently. More efficiently? That's interesting. Because the only person diagnosed with bird flu during the current outbreak carried a virus with a mutation that allowed it to infect people more efficiently. One cow in the study also carried H5N1 with that mutation. More than 200 others were infected with virus versions with different mutations that offer the same advantage. Why are we only learning about this now? Because they're about to start kicking things into gear. Okay? Again, problem, reaction, solution. All right, it's all leading to the end time prophecies of having the pestilences, the famines, and so on and so forth. Okay, and through that, they're going to bring that order, because again, all they need is a little bit of hysteria. Okay, a little bit of chaos, and then they'll be ready to present that solution. Okay, when all these things are destroyed, right? Because Esau does a great job with the understanding of human psychology, right? In any civil society, in order to bring a certain a new way of living, You just have to disrupt the old way. Okay? You disrupt the old way. All you gotta do is take away somebody's food, somebody's comfort, and their peace of mind, which is their safety. These three things, and you do it long enough. Okay? You take that shit away long enough, very soon they'll do whatever it takes to get back some food, to get back some comfort, and to get back some security. But with what they call conditions. Okay, under certain conditions, and that condition is going to be that MOTB. Okay, and if they can maintain that comfort, and they can maintain that food and all these different things that you're going to offer, then they are going to take that MOTB. Okay, and that's what we're starting to see. They're destroying the food supply. They're destroying the security. They're destroying the ways of living, and they're gonna keep it long enough. They're gonna keep the chaos going long enough for people to be desperate enough to say, "Hey, what is the solution?" And Esau is gonna come in happily to hand in that solution. That's gonna be that MOTB. Okay, so we're seeing prophecy definitely taking shape. Okay, and I'll be amiss to mention this precept here. All right, and let's get that in second or 1 Corinthians 2:11. Okay, right here it says, oh no, 2 Corinthians 2:11. Let me get that real quick. 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11, it says, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." Right? So the devices is going into the wiles, okay, the tricks, all right, the propaganda, the problem, reaction, solution. Okay, all these different things that people call conspiracy theories and, anti-Sem this and anti-Sem that. These are all part of his devices. Okay, creating a division, creating confusion, all these different things, the chaotic world we're living in, right? All these different things that we're seeing around the world, the wars, the rumors of wars, all this shit, right? Remember, all this fighting that you're seeing, the colleges and all this shit, it's gonna blow up into something bigger, because they're not just holding it on college campuses. They created laws that's going to affect everybody else. Okay, because of a goddamn college campus protest, the whole entire world is about to be under some type of lockdown of speaking the truth against the Jays, and that's going to give them license to even do more wickedness, because now you can't speak against it. It'll be an outlaw, or it'll be against the law to speak against them. See, so now they're about to go full flesh, full force on their wickedness openly. And if you dare speak about it, you're going to be deemed anti-whatever. And that's going to be coming with a penalty of death, or at least a jail sentence. Something. You see, they're already saying that you can't read certain things in the Bible because you're preaching hate. Fucking devils, man. All right. But again, we're starting to see it. It's all coming together, man. And they're exposing themselves the more they do this shit. All right. The more they do this shit. And that's all biblical prophecy. Let's get that. We're going to close it out. Favorite precept. All right, is the book of 2 Thessalonians, the man of lawlessness. All right, 2 Thessalonians, the second chapter. Start from verse 3. It says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition," which means the son of destruction. Okay, look no further than what's going on in Gaza. All right, look no further than their history of violence, lies, deception. Okay, and very soon, soon enough, I'm going to go into, all right, what they did to deceive the American people as well. All this whole American system, everything you've known, you've been taught, you believe is all lies. Okay, the so-called Constitution and everything in it, it's all lies. All right, and once that veil is taken off, oh shit, it says, "Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God." Right, that's why you're seeing all this stuff, all this wickedness that's going on, open rebellion against the Heavenly Father and His Son. Okay, I mean, through the media, all right, through the so-called entertainment industry, all right, through the politics. Okay, everything they're doing is an open rebellion, an exaltation against the Most High. Okay, or that is worshipped, so that He, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, shewing Himself that He is God. Okay, He's replacing what man should worship. Okay, at least the Israelite man, that is. Okay, he's putting himself in that seat, all right, to call himself God through his miracles. Okay, through his draconian legislations. Okay, it says, "Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what withholdeth that he might be revealed in his time." Right? For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. Okay, so during the time of the Apostle Paul, the same elites, the same power, which is the power of Satan, was in action. Okay, they were in action doing the same exact things that you're seeing today. Again, there is no new thing under the sun. Okay, but the Heavenly Father allowed them to do these things, all right, so that they can be revealed in these last days. Okay, that's why all these different wars and all these different efforts to topple those governments never worked all the way till now, because the Lord has to get that glory through this truth. Okay, it was never going to be, these devils were never going to be taken down by way of physical power. It has to be by way of truth, because they have their power through deception and lies. Okay, it says, "And then shall that wicked be revealed," by way of what? This truth, "whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, which are the prophets, all right, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming." Ultimately, that's Yahushua. Okay, it says, "Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders." All right, and that's what you're seeing now. Everything that they do is with the power and energy of Satan. Okay, that energy of that 666. All right. It says, "And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved." That's why a lot of people sell their souls. Okay, they'll lie and deceive, all because of some form of compensation to sit at the dinner table with the devil. Okay, Esau, Edom. All right, and that's the rite of passage. You need to do these things in order to be recognized in their inner circles. Okay, so all you see, these so-called celebrities and all these different people that seem to have some form of notoriety in this society, they had to sell out. And we're coming to those times where the Lord is revealing all this shit, exposing all these devils. Okay, and after the exposing comes, what happens? The sentence. Okay, the exposing happens when you get exposed, you get arrested. All right, everything gets like they say, the dirty laundry being aired out. Okay, and that's why they're trying to hide behind their so-called laws. It's not gonna work. Okay, it's not gonna work. Anyway, I'm gonna end it off there. Lord willing, you are edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakodash, the water Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and until next time, Shalom.